gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities, Thursday, September 11th. Thank you guys so much for joining us, whether you're watching on YouTube, X, wherever it may be. We do appreciate it. We survived yesterday's show. I mentioned during the show yesterday, I had to head to the doctor and figure out why I had been, last week I lost my voice almost. Monday, the voice came back, felt great. I started feeling kind of icky late Tuesday night into Wednesday. Got to the doctor yesterday and I got pneumonia. It's one of those things I've been getting too much of lately. So good thing meds are amazing. I feel a little better today. So I figured we got a good show kind of lined up. So let's get upstairs. It's not like I had to drive to work or anywhere like that. Head upstairs, hop on and get a show done. So grind with me through today's show, if you will. Hopefully we can get through it and all those kind of things as we rock our way through a great week here in the Quad Cities. Like I mentioned, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for doing that. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe ASAP. Subscriptions are going well. It's free. Like some people ask me, they're like, if I subscribe, how much does it cost? It costs you nothing. Just click subscribe. We appreciate it. We're live on X as well. So if you watch us on X, which thousands do every day, which is awesome. Go to X, check that out. And also, you can check us out on your podcasting platforms as well. Yesterday's show got up a little late, kind of left here after the show. I went to the doctor by the time I did all that stuff and crashed a little bit when I got home. I snuck that up yesterday evening. So if you missed it yesterday, go check it out. It was a fun show yesterday. Jake Brand was here talking with us about the Cyclones, Mark Nessler, and the new Nestguest contest that we're doing, and then Ty Taylor talking track football. So it was a ton of fun. Moving forward this week, as of right now, we'll probably be in studio tomorrow. I'd love to get out. Week 1, we went to Pleasant Valley. Week 2, we went to Geneseo. The way I'm feeling, probably not a great idea to head outside to a high school tomorrow. We'll see how we feel throughout the day and kind of go from there. So we will let you know on social media, but we'll have a show as long as I'm breathing. We'll have a show. So good show lined up for you today. We've been wanting to get to the Illini a little more. We talked to Mike Morrissey about Matthew Bailey's success earlier in this week. Our good friend Jim Mattson will join us in a matter of moments down from the Peoria area. A legend covering sports here in the Quad Cities, in the state of Illinois. Not just high school wise, but Illinois as well. So we'll talk about the Illini, the contribution. They got the $100 million contribution, the top 10 ranked football team. Life's good in Champaign right now. So we'll talk with Jim Mattson in a matter of moments. Also, later in the show, later in hour 1, we'll have Tom Kakert. Talk to him about we haven't talked to Tommy since our post show on Saturday, but kind of the lay of the land of Iowa athletics, Iowa football, and then of course should be a historic Saturday evening at Kinnick Stadium as Kirk Ferentz gets 206. So a lot to get to with Tom Kakert as well. Tommy will be with us, so we're going to talk Bears-Lions. I'm a Lions fan. He's a Bears fan. We'll break that down for you. All that and much, much more. Anthony Rizzo retiring, and the Cubs honoring him the way they should have. Awesome career. And, of course, anytime you win a World Series with the Cubs and you're that guy who catches the final out, you're going to be etched in memory. So we'll talk about that with Tommy a little bit as well coming up in the show. So as we mentioned, we'll probably do a podcast or a show after the Iowa game on Saturday night, depending how late it gets into Sunday morning. We'll let you know. Kind of all depends how I feel. Don't forget the Hawkeye Tailgate Show comes your way on the Iowa Football Radio Network. Here in the Quad Cities, it's Vintage Radio 107.7. Check us out. We go 4:30 to 5:30 this week, and then that'll set the way for the rest of the pregame. And of course, Pat Anger and Gary Dolphin will take over after that with the call of Iowa and UMass. So a lot to get to throughout the week. We're grinding. We're trying to stay healthy and keep rolling, and we haven't talked enough Illini. So without further ado, shame on me. Let's get rolling. So joining me now, the most famous person in the state of Illinois. That's what I like to call you, Jim. The one and only Jim Mattson down in Peoria, getting up early and joining me here on a Thursday. And I've had the voices of Illini fans in my ear saying, hey, I'm tired of the Iowa stuff. We need more Illini. And we got that with you. Boy, gosh, Jim, I don't know where to start. You got a big donation. There's a top 10 football team, all those kind of things. I think I want to start with the $100 million donation. And you kind of shake. I mean, you don't see it these days.
No.
So Geese Memorial Stadium, everybody will probably still call it Memorial Stadium. But in today's age of college athletics, what does that mean to the University of Illinois?
Well, it is, transformational is what they keep calling it. But I think it really kind of reflects Illinois Nation. I think, for an Illini fan that has $20 to donate, you want to donate to Illinois sports now. If you have $100 you want to donate, Larry's got $100 million apparently, and he wants to donate. But I think it shows all of our confidence level right now in Josh Whitman as he comes up on 10 years at Illinois. The feeling of Illini Nation is so positive, and but $100 million is unbelievable. And I love Memorial Stadium, and it's an old stadium, so the fact that it's going to get kind of architectural facelift or whatever needs to be done is exciting for me as a guy who was going to Illinois football games 40 years ago as a student, and even longer than that as a fan, as a kid growing up. I love that part, but more than anything, I think it kind of reflects how the state of Illinois feels about Illinois athletics. It's almost an all-time positive, and it is a point when you almost have to sit back and say, look what Larry Geese did. Look at how we all feel about Illinois, because Larry Geese, a few years ago donated $150 million to the business school.
Yeah.
Well, a few years ago, you probably weren't donating to the athletic program, but now the way things are going with women's basketball and men's basketball, and certainly a top 10 football program, it's just an unbelievable time for Illini Nation.
You mentioned it, Jim, and I listened to to Josh Whitman's press conference the other day, and he talked about that. It was a great 2-minute and 15-second little answer to why. And that goes all the way back to that guy getting hired. And everyone
Absolutely.
looks at coaches and all those kind of things, and you got to make right hires and coaches. But and it's kind of beating a dead horse when we talk about it, but I don't think people realize enough what Josh Whitman has meant to this school. And he got all the way down to the stuff that we probably not going to talk about a lot today, the golf, the other programs, the baseball program that constantly wins. We don't talk about that, but all of those. And he did mention this is something that was in the works, but obviously the football program doing what the football program is, helps a ton. This university, they nailed it when Josh Whitman was named the athletic director, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, for years I used to say Illinois needs to find their Pat Fitzgerald, because Pat Fitzgerald seemed to ignite Northwestern football, but Josh Whitman is the guy who just rises everything in Illinois. Some athletic directors have been good at raising money. Josh is probably better. Some have been good at hiring coaches. Josh is probably better. Some are good about relationships with coaches. Josh is better. I mean, to hear Brad Underwood, to hear Brett Bielema talk about Underwood or Whitman is unbelievable. I mean, he seems to check every box of getting coaches, maintaining coaches, raising salaries, raising assistant coaches' salaries, improving facilities, raising money, obviously, with $100 million. He seems to check every box. And, a little bit like Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern, you loved having a guy from Northwestern. At Illinois, Whitman, you love to hear him talk about, I love playing in this building. I love being an Illini. That stuff, I think all of us love hearing that. We love hearing a guy who Illinois was a big part of his life, and now he wants to give back to Illinois, whether it's Larry Geese with his pocketbook or whether it's Josh Whitman as the leader of athletics.
You mentioned two things when it came to that money. One, Memorial Stadium's better simply because fans are there, and that's gonna.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna
yeah.
be. They have 3 straight sellouts soon, and it's probably gonna be more than that. But for right now, 3,
Right.
and that helps environments and all those kind of things. But you did mention, Jim, like you go to, and I used to think Kinnick was awesome, and then they improved both
Right.
end zones, and it's like, wow, it's so much better. There is things when it comes to Memorial Stadium that can enhance the crowd experience, the loudness, the all those kind of things that will help this program in the long run as well.
Well, kids love shiny new. Kids love shiny and new, and whether they're kids going into the stadium and seeing the bells and whistles, or whether they're players running on the field and seeing the video board and the board signs all over the stadium, those things are important to younger people. And it's hard. I'm trying to think. My house is like 30 years old, and we're putting a new roof on it, and we're doing this, that, and the other. 100-year-old stadium, and there's so many of them in the Big Ten that were built in the 1920s. It's amazing how old the stadiums are in the Big Ten, and I love the history of them. But the shiny new stadiums you see in the National Football League. The Bears building one, the Broncos building one. There's something for these new stadiums, and to try to create $100 million to enhance a historic stadium on campus is terrific for Illinois.
It is. Any chance there's the Mattson State Farm Center coming up soon? You don't have any. What's the pocketbooks look like? No, not quite.
Yeah, it's funny because I think I went to school at the same time as Larry Geese, and he apparently took those get rich classes. Because
you got to pick your friends better. How are you not friends with that guy? You need to buy the right guy's sodas. Come on now, Jim. You're better than that. Jim Mattson joining us right now.
With you, all my friends were engineering students, and they're all taking really nice golf trips. And I'm going to the public municipal golf course and playing the twilight grade. So somewhere along the line, I went the wrong way at the University of Illinois.
They're playing at beautiful golf courses right now, and you're stuck talking to me. Jim Mattson joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. The football program, and it was the trendy pick last weekend. Yeah, I think Duke beats these guys, and not just in the nation as well. They had to hear that. And while it was a close game early, that was an impressive, like almost statement second half to see Illinois do what they did on the road. And I'll caution on the road with, it looked like there was like 25,000 Illinois fans. Hats off to Illinois fans. Sometimes, and that's the crazy thing, not to get off track, but there used to not be 25,000 Illini fans at Memorial Stadium sometimes, not too long ago.
Right.
And now they're traveling on the road or going out on the road. But that second half was impressive. Your thoughts on the Duke performance on the road for Illinois?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to be impressed about in the fact they didn't play well in the first half. And again, they didn't beat themselves. They took advantage of the Duke punt fumble, and they took a lead. I felt a little sick when Duke scored right before halftime, but Illinois was able to come in, change some things around. I think the coordinators in Bielema were able to make some changes. And you're right, that second half, I don't care how many times Duke fumbled. Illinois scored every possession. They were able to finish drives. They were able to make things happen, and that's a sign of a good team. I always say, good teams win at home. Great teams, dictate on the road. And in the second half, Illinois dictated on the road. They played a Big Ten physical style of football and controlled that game, and obviously blew out Duke. And again, we're not too far away. You mentioned from no crowd being there. We're not too far away from Illinois being a roadkill for every. Illinois is getting killed on the road every game. So that was impressive. Illinois went there and just controlled that game in the second half. And obviously, every game you win, the next game becomes bigger. And you don't want to look past this week, but Big Ten Saturday night next week in Indiana is again something we didn't see at Illinois. We didn't see top 10 rankings. We didn't see Illinois the featured game on Saturday primetime football. So boy, there's a lot of excitement, and that builds when you keep winning.
Absolutely. We have a couple Quad Cityans that we're pretty proud of down there. Obviously, Matthew Bailey's been making plays for years. Gets a forced fumble, a fumble recovery. And for us and everybody, but to see Cole Rusk catch that touchdown, we know what he's been through the last year. He's a young man that I talk about here all the time, comes up to my dad's golf outing, captains the Illinois team up here with that. Just a really good human being. I was in the living room watching the Iowa State game, and on the other TV I had Illinois on, and my kids were giving high fives. And if that says anything about knowing Cole and watching him catch that touchdown. Those two guys making impacts on both sides of the field makes us in the Quad City happy, and they're big parts of what Illinois wants to do this year, aren't they?
Well, I give Bielema a ton of credit too, because Matthew Bailey, the final kid that recruited, Cole Rusk, a kid that you take a little bit of a chance on. How many Big Ten teams have a Class 1A kid, a kid from GCMS, Aiden Lawfrey, a Class 1A kid? Caden Fake doesn't look like a 1A kid, but he's from Arthur, Illinois. So downstate kids. I think the kid from Spring Valley Hall is going to be a heck of a Big Ten player. Matt Randazzo is a heck of an athlete. So, and again, he was a last-minute recruit for Illinois. So I love the no stone unturned. They're looking at every player in the state of Illinois. My good buddy, former Metamora coach, Pat Ryan, is kind of the liaison between the high school football coaches in Illinois. And, the high school coaches I talk to in Central Illinois are just so upbeat about Illinois football, and they want to send kids to Illinois. But I love, I think Bailey's going to play on Sunday. He's smart. He makes plays. His injury, when Bailey hasn't been on the field the past couple of years because of injuries, it has affected Illinois. He is a tremendous player. And Cole Rusk and Arkin, a couple tight end touchdown catches, Bowick wide receiver touchdown catches. I keep wondering who's going to make up for Pat Bryant and the guys who left, but it's been by committee, and a lot of guys are stepping up at the wide receiver and tight end position, which is great to see.
Western Michigan comes in this weekend, and you look at the schedule, and it was take care of business on the road, the big Duke game. They did that. Now, everybody, you've already talked about Indiana primetime next week. It is that trap sandwichy type of game. Still big favorites. I think Illinois wins. How do they make sure that it's not too close for comfort? Or obviously, and Brett Bielema, I'm sure, is doing a good job of that, but that's something they need to be concerned with, just to go out and take care of business like a top 10 team would do at home.
Yeah, they have stumbled at home. The Minnesota game, the Michigan State game 2 years ago, they have kind of dropped the ball a couple times at home, and I do think this team is pretty grounded. I think I don't think they're too fired up about being ranked ninth or too. I don't think that stuff gets to them very much. I think they are a grounded football team, and Bielema talks about that all the time. That they don't think much about the ratings. They think about improving week to week, and I thought we saw some improvement last week, certainly in the second half, and. I just think this is a ship that's going forward, a airplane that's been cleared for liftoff, and they're taking off. And I don't think this is going to be trouble this week. I think they'll be ready to go. I love Altmaier, just making plays and moving chains and getting touchdowns. And I just think, you don't want to look past it, but I don't think that's that big a concern for this team. I'm not sure if, their B or C game's not good enough to win this week, but I think they understand. Let's keep getting better and better.
I think they look at it as every game is an opportunity, and you only get 12, and then after that, who knows? But so to go out there, play well, I wouldn't worry about it as an Illinois fan, but it's just it does look, if you're that old trap game type of guy. What do we know about Western Michigan, Jim? What is there? Is it Western Michigan is Western Michigan, or is there anything to be concerned about when it comes to what they bring in?
I don't think so. I think you go in and dictate tempo again. We've seen MAC schools give the Big Ten trouble. We've seen MAC schools give Illinois trouble. And, obviously Illinois had some offensive line miscommunication or whatever, especially in the first half against Duke. So you want to clean that up a little bit. But I think, the one thing I like about Illinois is I think Illinois is going to run the ball. I think we saw the three-headed monster at running back last week. I think Valentine got in and made some things happen late in that game. So I think you're going to see kind of a heavy dose of the run game in this game, and Illinois just trying to dictate tempo. MAC schools, I think, have traditionally played Big Ten schools tough for maybe a half, and then they get worn out a little bit. It might not be quite as easy as people are expecting, but I think Illinois is very concerned about Illinois, and I think Illinois knows they have to keep getting better, and they have to clean up a little bit of the problems in that Duke game. And if they do that, it shouldn't be a whole lot of trouble Saturday night. I think this team does get juiced by sellout crowds. I think, these kids arrived on campus, and you're right, the crowds weren't there and the electricity wasn't there. And I think Saturday night, sellout crowd, I think the energy will be there for Illinois.
Jim Mattson joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. A couple more, just two more before I let you go. First one being, we just talked about not looking ahead. We get to look ahead. We're the media. You mentioned Indiana next. And how long has it been for you, and you're a lifelong Illinois fan, that Indiana, Illinois, and we're talking to if I'm saying, hey, Jim, come on the show, I got to talk about Indiana, Illinois, you're thinking I'm talking basketball. I mean, this is football for both schools. One, I know you kind of shake your head a little bit. It's crazy to think, but reality is reality. That's a huge game next week.
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, I've always said Indiana, Illinois is my favorite basketball game to go to. I grew up, Indiana was Illinois' big rival, and to me it still is. I love the Indiana-Illinois game, but it's never been much in football. And gosh, I've been to many Indiana-Illinois games. I don't have a lot of memories. They tied. I think the last tie in college football history was Indiana-Illinois before the overtime rule. I can't remember. I mean, it is weird. I mean, and I wonder if the Indiana campus is a lot like the Illinois campus with all the football excitement and the newness of it and the big game. But it'll be fun to go over there and play a big game against the Hoosiers. I just think it's funny that, Big Ten Saturday night, NBC, somebody in Colorado is going to watch Illinois, Indiana. Somebody in California is going to watch Illinois, Indiana. That would have been unfathomable, 5 years ago, let alone 10, 20, 30 years ago. So you're right. It's new blood. And I keep saying, as I look at the Big Ten, it feels like there's three. It feels like Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon are. You'd be surprised if they're not in the playoff. It feels like there's going to be one more team invited to the party. Yeah. It might be the winner of that game is in the driver's seat.
Yeah, you hate to say like it's a play-in game for the
People's
college football because there's a lot
of
football to play, but it could be one of those games where those two are going to be the most talked about too as of right now, and we'll see who wins that game as well. Before I let you go, you're close. People, Illini fans up here, super excited here in the Quad Cities. Great fan base here in the Quad Cities. I've always said that. Down that way, and we talked this summer. People were excited, but and I've talked to Ken Prince about it on the show. I'm a Lions fan. It's weird to be good, because you just don't trust it. Are fans starting to trust it? Is seeing is believing? I don't want to be like that guy, but I'm worried about the Bears Lions this weekend, and I'm not used to it as a Lions fan. Are Illini fans getting more secure or used to it when it comes to this football program and what they're doing?
I think that's a good question. I still think there's a little wait and see mode, but I think all signs, all indications are so positive. I mean, the recruiting by Bielema into the future is so positive. It just feels like they're here to stay for quite a while. I mean, it feels like the foundation, going back to $100 million, it feels like there's a real commitment to football that we have not seen. And then it feels like, people can't, people forget tailgate. We had a lot of Peoria people who go down there and tailgate, not even going to the stadium. Now people can't wait for the game day. They can't wait for what time these games are. They can't wait for the Ohio State game. They can't wait for, so I think there's certainly a lot of optimism that the program is in a spot where it's here to stay. I think for the foundation is really, really good. And I think Illinois fans are excited about that it's not just a, one-hit wonder, a one-year wonder last year. I mean, again, you think about 10 wins last year. They could be better this year. They're top 10 in the country. It is. Sometimes I do have to just sit back and think about it. You've been in the news business. There's a lot of people in our newsroom not from Illinois. And, people are like, geez, Jim, Illinois is ninth in the country. And I have to say, you're right. This is weird. Illinois is ninth in the country because, my coworkers from Colorado and California, they've never seen Illinois ninth in the country. Well, most of our workers haven't. It's been a long time. So it is a very lofty position to be in, but the foundation seems so firm that I think Illinois fans are really on board.
No, I would agree with that as well. And it's one of those things too, where it makes me even more mad, Jim, that Iowa and Illinois don't play this year. And I'm not saying, I think Illinois would, I don't know what would happen and no one getting that debate or anything. And Iowa's lost a game and all those kind of things. But that's this area. It's been a long time since Iowa and Illinois football have been together and good at the same time. It stinks that it doesn't happen. I don't think it's until 2027 either. For some reason, I don't think it's until 2027, which is stupid. But enough of that. How's Friday nights going? I miss it a lot. I do miss the heck out of it. How are you guys rocking and rolling?
Yeah, we are. We got some really good football. We got some really good recruits here. We got, obviously, the kid from Dunlap's going to Alabama. There's a kid from Morton being recruited by Illinois and Iowa, big lineman. So we got a lot of big-time players in Central Illinois, and it's exciting. We've got a lot of good teams over here. Peoria High is really, really good, and Metamora is good. I think my alma mater, Morton's good. So there's a lot of really good teams extending the Bloomington Normal to Peoria. So it's been fun so far, and the weather's been great. It's supposed to be hot this week, but the weather's been great too.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. We had week 1 where we had the weather and some storms, but they didn't get down to you, so that's a beautiful thing. Jim Mattson in his office on a Thursday morning. I'm telling you, like, people, this is the life of a sports director. It's glamorous, it's fancy, it's working at all hours, all that kind of stuff. Jim, I always appreciate you. Great, have a great Friday night. Enjoy the Illini this week, and we'll probably bug you again real soon. I thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks. Always great.
Be good, Jim. That is Jim Mattson, one of the best in the Peoria area, covering high school sports, but also his Illini. He mentioned it. He's an Illini grad and in the top 10 for the first time in a long time. And a game this week against Western Michigan at home at night, and then they go on the road at night next week to take on Indiana in what should be an really big game in the Big Ten as well. So we got more to get to. Coming up after the break, we haven't talked to Tom Kakert this week at all. So we're going to talk to Tommy about Iowa and the sky is falling and all of those kind of things. So we'll catch up with Tom Kakert right after the break. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Thank you guys for being with us. Thank you for dealing with me a little under the weather as usual. If you missed it on the top, dealing with pneumonia, been sick for about a week. And one guy who constantly yells at me and probably knows me maybe more than my wife does sometimes is Tom Kakert. Tommy, what'd you say to me last Friday when I was losing my voice?
You've got pneumonia, Matt.
Yeah. Well,
because this is like the 4th time you've had pneumonia in the last 2 years.
Yeah, circle gets the square.
So I know.
Yeah,
I was
circle
correct.
gets the square. So thing is,
Once again,
it was weird.
I was right.
It was weird. Now you sound like my wife again. It was weird because like it was just I felt great, and then like I got my voice back on Monday, and then Tuesday evening into Wednesday, I started feeling like crap. So yeah, but anyways. Meds are a beautiful thing. We got a lot to talk about. Tom Kakert here. Iowa is trying to turn the page, I guess is a nice way of saying, from Iowa State. They do so with UMass this week at Kinnick Stadium. I guess we'll start with Iowa State real fast and then move on. But what was your headline out of that game? I know we had the post pod and we talked about it right after the game happened itself, but maybe 24 hours later, what did you take out of the game? And did anything change from when we talked on Saturday?
Just feels like they had an opportunity to sneak out of there with a win, and wasn't able to get it done. And that pass, as we found out now, it got tipped twice. Got tipped at the line of scrimmage by Aaron Graves, and then by the Iowa State receiver Townsend, and then it goes into the hands of the tight end. And rest, as they say, is history. Ifs, buts, candy, nuts. It's just it's a frustrating loss, and there's a lot of frustration right now with the offense, particularly the passing game, with Iowa fans. And this weekend could potentially remedy that when you've got a UMass team that's given up almost 300 yards a game passing to the powerhouses of passing that are Temple and Bryant, and 9 touchdown passes. You would think that perhaps the Iowa air attack, as it is, would get going a little bit.
I come to you when it's and X is there too to kind of gauge the Iowa fan or fan in general, but your site, HawkeyeReport.com, message boards, all those kind of things. What has it been like the last 4 days? I know the natives are restless. I personally don't agree with it. I know there's some that do. I think there's probably a happy median on where people could be and should be. Where are you at when it comes to, or I guess not where are you at, but what has it been like with the fans? And fan, of course, short for fanatics. So, and I think I get it. I understand it. I'm not saying they shouldn't be a little frustrated. What's it been like on the boards?
Yeah, it's been what you would expect, especially when they lose to Iowa State or one of the rivalry games, but particularly Iowa State, 3 of the last 4 years losing to them. That's and the way they're doing it and the way that they just haven't been able to produce offensively, I think it's a lot of parents' fatigue coming through, but also just, that for so many Iowa fans, this game is big because they go to their workplace and they're dealing with Cyclone fans, and now those guys are chirping at them for the 3rd time in 4 years, and they're telling you about how terrible your offense is and how you can't throw the ball and all those things, and it frustrates Hawkeye fans, as it probably should. So that's kind of where we're at, and but I think a lot of it is worse in the first 24 to 48 hours after the game. But then I think people start to see things a little differently, where you're like, you know what? Iowa State's pretty good. They're nationally ranked top 15 in the country. And Iowa just went there and almost beat them on their home field. You have to, objectively, you also have to be able to come out of that saying, okay, yeah, it wasn't what we wanted, but you have to look at it from the perspective that it was still a positive performance. I think in terms of keeping it close, being right there, having the opportunity to win, just not getting it done. But it wasn't like you went to Ames and got blown out and looked like you didn't deserve to be on the same field with the Cyclones. You were right there with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Kakert joining me from HawkeyeReport.com. Tommy, I usually try to get up there on Tuesdays, do some radio stuff. Stayed away Tuesday. Wasn't feeling the best, so I figured probably not great to get up amongst the players and all those kind of things. So what did you learn on Tuesday? Obviously, we did learn that Mattson, Ostranga out for the year. Really stinks. 1, for the football team. 2, you and I both have gotten to know Addison. I've gotten to know him coming down to my dad's golf outing the last 2 years and captaining that team. So an amazing young man. Feel bad for him as a guy. And then obviously that hurts this offense. And Tom, when you came into the season, if we talked in July, we talked about, RB1 probably being Kamari Moulton and Reese being wide receiver 1A, 1B.
3, 4, 1A.
Yeah. And then obviously your top tight end is Ostranga. So that doesn't help. What else did we learn on Tuesday? What was the vibe? I did do a phone interview with with Xavier Wampa for the pregame show that you guys will hear on the pregame show, the Hawkeye Tailgate show. And a lot of, turning the page, stepping up, accountability, all those kind of things. Did you get anything out of Tuesday? What were the headlines for you coming out of Tuesday and the media availability?
Well, you know what I've concluded, and I said this the day Kirk said it, he'll lead into the first week's game when he said, we're really pretty healthy coming out of camp. I was like, you just don't say that.
Yeah.
Just that you're tempting the injury gods to come get you, and they have got Iowa with, your number one running back, your number one tight end, and one of your better wide receivers who Mark Gronowski said on Tuesday he had really good chemistry with, are now sidelined, one for the entire rest of the year with an Achilles tear. By the way, Addison's going to come back next year. So
that's awesome.
He's got a redshirt year that he can use, so he is going to come back. So they'll have him for that
means
extra
he can come
year,
back to the guy Randazzo as well.
As long as that Achilles is healed up enough to swing a club.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He and Orthworth will be there too. Zach will play for sure. Zach was feeling bad. He couldn't play last year.
Yeah,
because he had to go out of town. So, I think the thing that I learned was just talking to Gronowski is I know there's a perception that they don't want to take shots and that they won't take shots down the field or whatever. He's like, they were ready to take him against Iowa State. It's just that Iowa State's defense took away those looks. And when he did have the opportunity, he fired it down the field and got a PI on that play. The other thing, Weejan probably a little too honest with us with his comments about his shoes, that he was wearing turf shoes on a grass field. And that's part why he lost his footing on that interception. And, Weejan did not have that was a rough day for him. Well, starting with the personal foul on the opening kickoff, the slipping on that play that was the interception, kind of misplaying a punt, not coming up, running up and catching it and letting it bounce, and then it scooted past him and gets tackled deep in his own territory. But that's a senior. He's going to learn from that, and I know he's going to be better for it. So he's going to make a big play this weekend probably to make people forget that he had a rough day on Saturday. But I admire him for admitting what he did, because we weren't like fishing for it, and he just kind of threw it out there. I was like, oh, okay, wrong shoes. That he was wearing, and the other shoes were available to him. The grass shoes were available to him. So it was his personal choice.
Tom Kakert joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. Tommy, let's move on to UMass, and a team that, by all accounts, should come in and get Iowa, or not get Iowa, but give Iowa that victory they need. And it's weird that this week, Kirk Ferentz is going to do something that's amazing and unheard of, and all those kind of things. We had Pat Anger on earlier this week on Tuesday, and his accounts of what Kirk Ferentz has meant to him were awesome. I'm going to share them again later this week. But have we forgot about the milestone that's about to be because of Iowa State, because of everyone being in the now, and that's, let's say, it's disappointing. But it's a little frustrating that this man who's done a lot for Iowa football, a ton for Iowa football, it's almost forgotten about that it's going to be a pretty special Saturday, all things considering, unless something crazy goes on. Your thoughts on Ferentz, the record, as we get closer to it this Saturday?
Yeah, if it doesn't happen, we've got an even bigger story, probably. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But it was interesting. The last two Tuesdays, when this is kind of on the platter, served up for us to ask about, nobody has asked about it. It's almost like you don't want to talk about a no-hitter. You don't want to talk about getting a win before you get a win. So, and what it might mean. So nobody asked about 206, but it's a grand achievement. It's an incredible achievement for Kirk Ferentz to get to 206 career wins. And we'll see if he gets it done. I'm pretty sure he's going to get it done comfortably, and then he can kind of move on. But for him, I don't know if he likes all the fanfare. I don't know if he likes all the attention or whatever they're going to do for him. I just don't think he's motivated by that. I always, we did a question of the week on Wednesday, and this week it was the kind of memories of Kirk. And I'll always go back to like that first Big Ten win, sitting in that media room. And I wasn't covering the team full time at that point. I was just, kind of stringing along, just being there. And somebody asked him about that Michigan State win in 2001 or in 2000, and just what it meant to get that first Big Ten win. And he just, that's the first time we saw what I call emotional Kirk come out and just kind of get misty about what it meant to the players and what it meant to his assistant coaches to get that win. And I'll never forget that. And I remember talking to a friend of mine afterwards, and I said, I don't know how good of a coach he's going to be, but he's the right guy for this job.
Yeah.
He fits Iowa, just the way he carries himself. And I think that's proven to be true. And I think he's proven that he did deserve this job, and that he's achieved quite a bit in his time, and he's earned the right to go out the way he wants to go out.
Absolutely. It's crazy. And I know some people wrote about it before the season about, how he started. I don't think some people remember it or understand it. Like I was telling my boys about
2-18.
He won 10% of his games. First 20 games. And like, that's not just, that's also just shows where we've come with college sports in general as well, or just winning as a culture. He
might not have survived after year two.
No, who was the coach at the DC from Illinois that went over to Purdue that just got canned?
Ryan Walters.
Ryan Walters. After 2 years, right?
Yeah.
2 years and done, and just not winning. So, and you're coming off of Hayden Fry. It's not like you're just coming off of a guy that it's a program that's just a bad program. It was great under Hayden Fry. So that's, I think, the cool thing when it comes to Kirk Ferentz. You mentioned a little bit about UMass and maybe their struggles defending the pass. What is it about this team? What do we need to know about this team? Tell us a little bit about it. I can already hear Iowa fans after the game saying, well, yeah, but it was UMass. But what is it about UMass that Iowa can be successful about coming up this week?
Yeah, they're beat up too. They lost last week to an FCS team in Bryant, plays in the CCA, which is not a really great conference, and they were like one of the worst teams in the CCA last year. So, this UMass team not good. They're just not good, and their starting quarterback is out. They're going to start a guy who transferred in from Yale, Grant Jordan, and their best wide receiver is out. So T.Y. Harding, he's out for this game. They've got their new head coach said that they're down like 8 or 9 quote starters or significant contributors this week. So they're really thin. They don't have a whole lot of talent, and it's going to be and now they're traveling halfway across the country. Heading into a bye week. Boy, it's all there for Iowa. Like I said earlier, they've given up 9 touchdown passes, 297 yards a game in the air, 136, I believe, on the ground per game. They haven't given up a rushing touchdown yet, but I think that's going to probably end.
Yeah.
So I think Iowa's going to roll. But again, I thought they'd roll against Albany, but I think Mark's going to be way better than he was in that first game. I think Gronowski's going to be good. Somebody did ask him Kirk Tuesday, like, hey, do you come out and try and, throw it around a little bit more just to kind of get that pass game going? And he's sort of, we're a balanced team. So I don't expect, if he's going to throw it around the yard, he wasn't going to give it to us on Tuesday.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because I think there's part of this fan base that wants them to throw it 30 times, 35, 40 times and just roll. It goes back to me, like Tom, and it's Ethan Happ was somebody from our area, obviously a fantastic player up at Wisconsin. And I'd watch him in practice knock down threes all the time. And then I think I said to him one time, like, why don't you shoot more threes in a game? And not even just like a Big Ten game, but when you're playing Wisconsin lacrosse, whatever, in game number 3 of the year. And it was one of those things where it's like, when I can eat inside, it's hard. When there's a steak inside, it's hard to try to worry about stuff outside when you can go eat inside. That's what it was for Iowa, I think, in game 1. Like, if it was working, it was hard not to go away from it. That would be, I want to say my concern, but my thought process is, like Kirk just said, I don't think if you said to Kirk Ferentz, hey, I can give you a stat sheet that has 300 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, 150 yards rushing after the game, or 250 and 250, he'd say, give me the balanced one. I think that's what he wants more than anything else, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. I think Gronowski's going to go over 200 yards. I think he's going to throw for 3 scores. That's what I put in my piece. So I think he's going to have a good day.
I love
Yeah, I think there's going to be some good movement. I think there'll be some big plays, both run and pass. I think Weegen probably has a good punt return. They got a good punter. He's hitting like 50-yard bombs on the punts. So that means Weegen will be back there. He'll be able to field some punts and make some plays. So I keep an eye out for Weege to do something, kind of make up for the faux pas of the Iowa
I want to
State
see him. I want to see him do that, but in the flow of the game. I don't want, and I'm not just saying like on offense or anything like that, but I just don't want him. I felt like maybe definitely against Iowa State, he was trying to force it a little bit, if that makes sense, trying to make a play that wasn't there. So I agree with you. I just want to see him let it come to him instead of trying to go find it and get it. A couple more Iowa related things. What's the running back situation right now? Kamari Moulton's still out.
Yep.
Is Jazz Patterson number 1?
Washington was still at the top of the depth chart, so I would expect he'll be there again. Then it's Xavier Williams and Jazz Patterson. Guess who leads Iowa in rushing attempts this year?
Is it Mark Gronowski?
It's Mark Gronowski.
That's amazing. That's also a product of what, 5 running backs have gotten carries in 2 games?
Yeah.
So that's probably a product of the other ones coming down. But who do you expect? I mean, is it expect the unexpected? Like hot hand, how it goes if Washington starts and plays well early, he's probably going to be the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if it's Williams, then he'll get the ball, and I think they'll go with a little bit of a hot hand and see how that goes. But I do think Gronowski's going to get the pass game going a little bit. He almost has to. I think they're missing maybe a corner or two in this game as well. So they've got a lot of walking wounded.
Give me that final score prediction, all those kind of things. I like the anecdotes. I like the over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, all that kind of stuff. You were right about my pneumonia. Let's hope for Iowa fans' sake you're right about your Iowa predictions as well. Give me a final score.
Let's go 45-3.
45-3. I like it. The defense has been. We don't even talk about the defense. I think the defense.
That'll get the cover.
Let me ask you this real quick, Tom.
Hey, the defense. The defense. I think they got to get some turnovers, and we may see some of that. But no interceptions the first 2 games, only 2 sacks. They've got to get after it and get some things going on that side of things.
Yep, I think the ball's bounced not their way the first couple weeks.
Yeah,
but still, I would agree with that. And mind you, this is talking about a team that's given up 2 touchdowns their first 2 games, and 1 was on the short field after an interception. So, I mean, defense, it's hard to complain about. But, yeah, I think there's a few things they can do a little bit better. I don't know if you knew this, but it's Bears-Lions week.
Really?
Yeah. Who would have? I know. I wish it was a matchup of 1-0 teams. although I enjoyed Monday night. I know you enjoyed Sunday afternoon.
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
know
keep.
you were a Lions, or I didn't know you were a Vikings fan.
Oh, I'm a. How do I say this? I'm a Lions fan, and I'm not a Ben Jensen guy right now. And you know this. I hate the Bears, but I'm always right about them. So people should listen. Because I'm always right. I mean, it's crazy. I don't think I missed one yet. So, anyways, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back with Tom Kakert, talk about that, Anthony Rizzo in the Hall of Fame, a couple other things before we let you go here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need mobile party experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile party experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. It's one of those Thursdays I'm grinding through the week. Starting to feel a little bit better. Pneumonia is the verdict from the doctors yesterday. But Tom Kakert was nice enough to join me. And it's one of those things, Tom, where if you're doing a show in your loft and nobody's home and you feel like you can walk upstairs and turn a microphone on, the show must go on. And that's what we've done here today. Fun show so far. Obviously, Tommy joined us talking Iowa football, but you're a Bears guy. I didn't get your thoughts on Monday night. I don't even know if we talked on the phone. What were your overall thoughts on Monday night?
Good start, bad finish. Just both offense and defense really good early, and then not good late. And I don't like to completely blame officials unless Don Umlin is around. But I thought that holding call was awful. It wasn't holding, and that then the Bears have the ball at the 12-yard line. If that's not a hold, and maybe they score there and kind of put that game away, and instead, they go back 10 yards. Then Caleb throws a dumb pass that was intentional grounding, and they try to kick a 50-yard field goal and miss, and and then Minnesota got going. And I think what we saw, I'm kind of looking at this as Caleb's rookie year because he was so poorly coached last year by Shane Waldron and Flus and company. So I just kind of look at this like a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback, and they're working through it. You could see that KOC was the more experienced coach there and made some good decisions and got the Vikings got their run game going, and that relaxed JJ. JJ was not great the first 2.5, 3/4 of that game, but he played huge down the stretch, made the plays, and the Bears defense could get off the field.
Are you concerned at all about Caleb Williams' inability to
Nope.
make easy throws?
Nope.
Like, so he's
Nope.
6 of 6 on the opening drive, maybe 10
Yeah,
of 10
he
to
was
start the
great.
game. Yeah, well, scripted. It's pretty easy to dump down to DeAndre Swift and stuff like that. Are you concerned that a guy playing in his first game made bigger, more impactful plays in his first game than Caleb's probably made in 18 games of starting?
I wouldn't say that's true.
Can you give me a Caleb Williams moment?
Let
me explain. So, Matthew Stafford's rookie year, Lions weren't winning. They were struggling. He takes a hit to the, everybody's seen it, takes a hit to the shoulder against the Browns, comes back in the game after separating his shoulder, throws a touchdown pass, they win the game. I said to myself right there, that dude's going to be a good quarterback and a winner because, yeah, he struggled with certain things, but like that's the it moment that I needed to see. I haven't seen, and maybe I'm wrong. I only watch every Bears game. And is there an it moment that you're like, and please don't give me the rolled out and threw a dime on the sideline to Roma Dunze. That's a wow play. But is there a wow moment where you're like, this guy did a lot are you trying to mute me?
Well, my computer was about to die, so I had to plug it in.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know if you're trying to mute me. Anyways, is there a wow moment? What's Caleb's signature moment so far after 18 games?
No, I don't know. Like I said, I've thrown away last year. It was they wasted him. He was poorly coached.
Matthew Stafford was poorly coached for a decade. Marty Morningweg and the other buffoons that had him ruined him as well. I get it. I understand. Okay, so my Caleb stuff, and I don't want to keep this all on Caleb, is that like
you're obsessed with Caleb.
No, if as a JJ guy, no, I'm never, because I was obsessed with Mitch and I was obsessed with Justin Fields, and now I'm obsessed with Caleb. I'm just the voice of reason to Bears fans when they don't get it right. And I don't know if I don't know. I don't know yet. But like the automatic voice, it was funny. Danny Parkins is that.
I'll know.
And I know you
I'll know. I'll know about Caleb by the end of this year. We'll know.
And is that
if
enough
Ben
time
can
though?
Fix him.
If you threw away last year, is 1 year enough?
Yeah. I think by the end of the year.
And I hate saying this because I'm also a don't jinx it guy, and so he's going to come and light up the Lions, and you're going to be awful on
I will
Monday.
not.
But with that being said, going into this, Ben Johnson, your thoughts on Ben Johnson opening game?
I think he's doing fine. He's going to learn. I think he's going to be aggressive, and that's something that the Bears fans are going to have to adjust to on those fourth down and twos.
I completely agreed with the fourth.
Because I got a lot of Bear fans who are like, "Why didn't you just kick the field goal there?
No,
why didn't you just?"
Because you make a complete pass and you score a touchdown. That's how you win games in the NFL.
I know. I
He's
agree
just
with it.
used to good offenses that can do it. That's his only mistake.
Well, he'll figure it out. He'll figure it out.
Was he frustrated in general, or was he frustrated with Caleb when we looked to the sidelines and we saw some looks that were on his face?
I think. He's frustrated with the team that committed 11 penalties for 122 yards.
Hey, the Lions looked even worse.
You can't have that and expect to win in the NFL. And they had so many false starts, and it's just sloppy. Yeah. It's just sloppy football. You can't expect to win in the NFL with those type of numbers. That's why I don't pin it all on Caleb. Caleb missed some throws. The one to DJ Moore, where he was heading towards the end zone. If you put that on him, he probably scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
And it wasn't his first read, but he saw him, and then he tried to hit him, and he just airmailed it. I mean, you've got to make that throw if you're going to be a high-level quarterback in the NFL.
Were you surprised they didn't kick it out of bounds? I know he was trying to. I get that, but how do you not know that he doesn't have the leg strong enough to kick it out of the back of the end zone. I get it. You won't give up the yardage, but it's to the 35 now. Just kick it sideways, and it's to the 40. It's 5 yards difference. I think they might win the game if they honestly, I don't know if Minnesota, gets they're going to get the ball back and a chance. I was surprised on that one. Okay. On my end.
Yeah, but if he can't kick it out of the end zone or kick it out of bounds or whatever, give it to him at the 40 or the 35 or whatever they're going to do there with those plays.
Then onside kick.
Then onside kick.
Yep.
Because you had a chance to get the ball back with about a minute left, and although the way the Bears line was protecting was not great. Flores played. Ben Johnson had success when he was with the Lions against Flores, but Flores kind of baited him by not bringing a lot of blitz in the first half, and then the second half it was bringing 5 guys every time, and the Bears just couldn't adjust.
He had a lot of success against Flores with the Lions because he had a quarterback that's 10 times better than the quarterback in Chicago right now. But I digress. The Lions, on the Lions side of things, they looked awful. And it wasn't just like, while they played well and the Green Bay was really good, they missed assignments, missed blocking. I mean, everybody's seen the video of the Lions on the 1 yard line, and they don't even block the nose tackle, and it was almost a safety. So I that's what I say to everybody. Like, I had a buddy text me today that said, hey, you got to throw Detroit into a money line parlay sometime this weekend. I'm like, yeah, you might, but I watched that, and it's just a huge game for the Lions, I think, with Ben Johnson coming back. And if their schedule's brutal, I know Bears fans, theirs is really bad, but the Lions is just a little bit worse. So I get it. And you can't go 0-2. There's some stat in football where if you go 0-2, I think since a certain time, I think only 2 teams or 3 teams has made the playoffs. So what do you expect when Ben Johnson comes back on? He's going to get a pretty nasty welcome, I'd assume. If Matthew Stafford got booed when he came back, and Matthew left via trade, not just via free agency, think it pretty ugly on Sunday when it comes to his reception?
I think they'll probably get after him. This is a Man Campbell game. Man Campbell's going to be out and about, chewing kneecaps or whatever he does, and
winning games.
He's going to challenge. Yeah, he's going to challenge the team's manhood coming into the game, and they're going to come out and play great. And
I hope so.
I already know how this is going.
God, I
already know.
Objective me, I agree with that, but it's my biggest concern in life is losing these jerks. But let's talk Cubs. And real quick, Packers tonight before we get away from.
How about this? If the Bears win, you have to take the Lion mini helmet, and we have to put you have to wear a Bears shirt on Monday.
What do I get if the Lions win?
You get to keep the Lions helmet on.
No, there's no. If there was something in return, I might do it. But I don't get anything. I don't get anything in return.
No.
I don't know if there's ever going to be a Bears helmet on my set.
I'll buy you a Hungry Hobo.
Well, I do like Hungry Hobo, but that's not enough to. That's not a sponsor. It's a great
Hungry
sponsor.
Hobo.
It's a great sponsor. I've had them 3 times this week already. So, no go with that. We'll talk later in the year. Maybe the return one to Soldier Field. I can't put just be safe. It's not costly enough to you if the Lions win.
Sure it is. It's money out of my pocket.
Yeah, look at you. You're rich as can be. We all know that.
No, God, no.
Okay.
I'm poor.
Packers tonight. I watched a little bit of the Commanders on Sunday. Not as much. I did talk to some people that think that they didn't look great. The Giants were awful.
Giants were bad.
Don't you think they take a step back? Don't the Commanders take a step back? Packers tonight?
Is it at Green Bay?
Yeah, it's at Green Bay.
Okay. Yeah, I would say the Pack probably wins, but
I think it's at Green Bay.
Packers look pretty good. Look pretty good.
They did. There was just an unhealthy obsession between Tony Romo and Micah Parsons. It was just an unhealthy obsession. I get it. That's what they're there to do, is pump up the big thing, and he's a former Cowboy and all that kind of stuff. So I get the national narrative, but in general, it annoys me. Before we let you go, Tommy, and I appreciate you double dutying today as I get through this little sickness. Hopefully, maybe I won't. You never know. Anthony Rizzo getting named or retiring yesterday. And the Cubs celebrating. I don't know. Did you see the 8-minute video they put up on social media? The Cubs did.
I did. I did
was
see that.
Awesome. Your thoughts on Riz and the Cubs?
He's my favorite Cub on that team, on the World Series team. Always was. I mean, he was to me, he was the heartbeat of that team. He was the heart and soul of the team. He was the captain. I mean, he was just the leader of that team, and I was so happy that they're gonna have him retire as a Cub and honor him because he deserves it. He was so important. He was one of the first pieces that they went out and got in that trade. Got him from San Diego, and he had his struggles early, and just battled through it. And he and Bryant and everybody else, they built that team. But he was the foundational piece. He and KB were the two kind of foundational pieces of that lineup, and carried them to what I never thought I would see happen. As a Cubs fan.
That's the thing, Tommy. That catch at first base.
And I mean, for a long time, until like this year, the screensaver on my phone was Rizzo celebrating the World Series.
Yeah. That's
that was
a visual.
The screensaver on my
putting
phone.
that ball in his back pocket
all
everything
in
else.
Back pocket. Yeah, it was it was the best. And he's a great guy too. That's the other thing. Just awesome individual, and humble as the day is long, and none of that celebrity ever went to his head. Very charitable, helping kids in hospitals, and going to visit them, and that's Riz. And his story, battling cancer and everything. I mean, it's just a great story too.
Yeah, no, awesome stuff to see. It's funny, my kids all wear 18 playing baseball, and from that's the era they're growing up. And my oldest Charlie is 7 or 8 when they win the World Series, probably 7. And I told him the next year we start baseball, and I'm like, what around that time? I'm like, what number? And he picked 18 for Ben Zobrist. So Ben Zobrist was the guy in our house, but right there was Rizzo right after that. So, hey, I have a question before I let you go. So I'm wearing my hat forward, and before we started the interview, I was wearing it backwards. I like wearing a backwards hat, but my question is, and I know, when are you too old to wear your hat backwards? I feel like I look like an idiot right now. Is 46 too old to wear your hat backwards?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. John Marks is going to strangle you.
I know.
He will.
I think I could have been 16.
Put your hat on. Put your hat on correctly and bend the bill.
Well, I do have the bill bent, of course. Like that whole thing.
That's how you wear. That's why you wear.
This is how I got through college some years. I hope Duke's not watching this. I never slept in his class, but the Hall of Famer, by the way. But I would always put my hat low.
Hall of Famer, Duke.
Yeah, I'd always put my hat low, and just, if you sat there like that with your hat low, you get a little extra nap at 8 o'clock at damn Rose. You never knew. Alan Seville maybe will watch this and get mad at me because of that, but I don't think I slept in his class too much either. Anyways, all right, I was wondering because I didn't know if I could get away with a backwards hat, and you're right. I've watched myself in the mirror every once in a while when I put it on backwards, go like I look like an idiot. So thank you for your constructive criticism there. And also thank you for bailing me out today.
I'm trying to help you with your fashion because, nothing says fashion like me.
Like Tom Kakert. That's true. And also, thank you for being a doctor before a doctor could tell me to be a doctor and what was wrong with me. Tommy, as always, I appreciate it. Enjoy the game. I'll see you on Saturday up at Kinnick Stadium. Thanks, pal.
All right. I'll see you.
All right. That is Tom Kakert. Talked a lot of Hawkeyes in our first segment with him, and then it's Bears-Lions. Oh, God, please don't let the Bears win. Anyways, we got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Thursday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Of course, thank you to Crawford Company, a new sponsor of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. You've seen them a little bit this week. We'll be doing much more with them as well. We're grinding. We've almost made our way through. Huge thank you to Jim Mattson and Tom Kakert for joining me on today's show. A lot of good stuff. Covered the Hawkeyes and the Illini, little Bears, Lions. If I look like an idiot, if I wear my hat backwards, all those kind of things. So we appreciate you guys watching. Usually we take the show on the road on a Friday. That's to be determined. As of right now, probably going to have an in-studio show. Excuse me. But I'm hoping to feel, a lot better come tomorrow. So anyways, I'm most likely heading back to bed. I appreciate you guys watching today's show, however you watched it or listened to it. And we'll be back with another Off the Air with Matt Randazzo coming up tomorrow. Guys, take care, and we will talk to you again real soon.